Hey, this is Monotrox. Welcome to the fourth video in our Blender tutorial series. This time we're going to be making some ice cubes with some sculpting techniques. So let's go ahead and go to the 3D view. First thing we want to do is make sure we're in object mode. Deselect everything with A. Hold Shift A to make a new cube. And then we want to scale this down. So just press S to scale. I'm going to type 0.6 and press enter. Scale that down. That's probably pretty good. We're going to have like 3 of these in the middle of the glass here, so that'll probably do. So I'm going to move this out here to work with it. First thing I want to do is actually add a bevel to this. So if we go over here to the little right menu, click on this little wrench, add a modifier, and click bevel. What this does, if we go back to solid, we can see there's a bevel on all the corners. Pretty simple. If we go over to the right here, change width to 0.2, segments to 8, and that makes a little bit of a deformed cube, or at least a rounded cube. And this is going to be the base of what we start working with. First thing we want to do is go ahead and click apply. If we don't do that, then we won't be able to sculpt this. So go ahead and select our cube, hold tab, and move up to go to sculpt. This is way too big of a radius, so I'm going to move this down to a little bit less than that. A little bit more than that. And this is probably good. Strength, I'm going to set to around 0.7. And we want to make sure this tool is set on smooth. And all we really want to do is deform this shape a lot. So if we click around the corners, we'll just start deforming this entire cube. Make it look a little bit more weird. Like it's more of a melted ice cube. Which is kind of the look we're going for. So we're just going to keep doing this until we have something we kind of like. There's no real science to this. Just kind of click and go. So this is probably more or less good at this point. As we can see, this looks like it's been melted a little bit. What we're going to do now is actually use the smooth tool for what it's for. So go ahead and make sure smooth is still selected. Set this radius way higher, like a little bit less than that. Just so it covers the entire cube here. And set the strength to probably around 0.2. Go ahead and click and smooth out some of those edges. And you can see this kind of like just averages out, make it look a little bit less wonky. So that's probably good. We don't need to go crazy with this. Next thing we want to do is add a modifier to this. So let's go ahead and get out of sculpt mode. Go back over here to this little wrench, add modifier, and we'll do a subdivision surface. And this time we will use this Captain Clark crazy thing. And what this does is just smooths the entire surface around here a little bit more. Set this view to 2, just so that you can see what's actually going on here. The next thing we want to do is just add 2 more ice cubes. So just use Control V to copy paste and move them to where you want them. So we'll just have 3. And I'm just going to scale these around a little bit. To make them look a little bit different from each other. Again, there's no real science to this. I'm rotating them a little bit as well. I'm just going to set this one right on top. Go ahead and use B to use a box select. Select all your shapes, move them over. And let's switch back to wireframe, see where they sit. I'm going to go ahead and go back to this display. Let's actually check the right view. Right, so from the right view, we can see whether or not it's actually clipping with this bottom here. This is actually the bottom of the glass, this line that you see where my mouse is going over. So we just want to move this up a little bit. And that's basically good. I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit bigger so it fills out the glass a little better. You will see from the top, if I turn off wireframe, it's not going to fill out the entire glass, but that's okay. So the camera's not really going to care about that. The next thing we want to do is just join these shapes together. So if we make sure that these 3 are selected, you can just look to the top of the glass, right-click, shift-right-click on all of them. I'm going to go ahead and join them by hitting Control and J. And this will actually just make it one singular object. So when I select it, it's just the entire thing. And then now I'm going to go ahead and go to this material tool, add a new material, change this to glass. Change the roughness to, let's say, 0.2. And the IRR to, let's say, 1.4. And let's just check out the render for a second. So now that we have a full render, you can probably tell it doesn't look phenomenal yet. We're going to change the lighting a little bit in the last video. But you can see that there's cubes in there that look maybe kind of like ice. We're just going to say that's okay for now. But in the next video, we're going to be going over how to do a fluid simulation to add whiskey to this glass. So I'll see you guys there.